Emily Jashinsky is here, editor at the Federalist, as is Jason Nichols, senior lecturer at the University of Maryland. Jason, I want to get you on this. There's a lot of kids who have been taken advantage of. Somebody who gets a degree in philosophy, a master's, $56,000 in debt. Literature, $52,000. Lousy investment. PhD in communications media studies, you got an average of $101,000 in debt. First thing you learn in journalism school, it doesn't pay much. Liberal arts PhD, $199,000 in debt. Do we need to start telling people you can take out all these loans, but you're never going to make enough to pay them back?
So I think one of the things that we need to first address is the rising cost of higher education, and that has to be lowered. And there are many ways to go about that, but I think that that is the primary issue here, even over canceling student debt. I think that there are a lot of students who have been taken advantage of. I'll tell you right now, and I'll say it on record, that I don't think anybody who doesn't plan on, if they're not getting a master's degree in things like where it's a terminal degree like business or like nursing or something like that, then they shouldn't get a master's degree unless they plan on getting a doctorate. That would be my advice. That's the advice that I give a lot of my students who are pursuing, postgraduate education. I would say that we still need to think about the fact that, and the Biden administration has canceled $10 billion worth of student debt, particularly the ones that have been.
Yeah, right, no, that was the for-profit colleges. You and I could argue whether or not all colleges, in a way, are for-profit. When you look at what Harvard charges, what Princeton charges, oh, come on. Really?
Well, I'm at a state university.
Yeah,
and
that's different. That's different. I'll grant you that. Emily, Larry Summers, famed economist of both the Clinton and the Obama administration. I hope the administration does not contribute to inflation macroeconomically by offering unreasonable, generous student loan relief, or microeconomically by encouraging college tuition increases. You combine that with what Nina Turner said. I'm wondering if I can get you, Nina Turner, and Larry Summers to agree that tomorrow is a PR stunt.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just a PR stunt. It's coming towards the fall of a midterm election cycle that is very bad for the president's party. And he's sort of dangled this along throughout his presidency. We're about halfway in. We kept hearing it was going to happen and it's going to happen. And now we're seeing it happen before the midterm election cycle. So I think the political writing is clearly on the wall. And on top of that, I think actually we can all agree that the cost of higher education is the sort of paramount concern here. But when you forgive student loans like this, which people consciously borrowed, you are creating no incentive for our system of higher education to reform and to take price down. This is exactly the kind of thing that will bankrupt more students down the line in the near future and in the far future, because it doesn't do anything about the incentive system when the government is forgiving loans and giving out so many loans that are then possibly going to be forgiven. The cost of higher education, schools can continue charging extreme. I mean, like, we're talking extreme amounts of money.
It's wild when you think about somebody graduates with a PhD in something like literature and they've got $190,000 in debt. Is there sort of a moral hazard here in the sense, Jason, that you've got the federal government giving out these loans that they know can't be forgiven with bankruptcy. They can't be eliminated with bankruptcy. And at the same time, there's no way in the world any lender that was forced to have that potential of bankruptcy eliminating debt would lend $200,000 to somebody who wanted to study English history.
Well, I think, again, I'm going to give a little bit of free game here, and that is that you should not go and get a doctorate unless it's paid for, unless you are working and they give you a stipend. That's the way most people do, graduate education, particularly when they're trying to get a doctorate. I will address really quickly the inflation argument that Larry Summers made. And that is, first of all, even opponents like the Committee for Responsible Federal Budget, they say that this will contribute. And these are people who oppose any kind of student loan forgiveness. They say that blanket student loan forgiveness, that's something that the Biden administration is not even thinking about, will raise inflation by 1/10 of a percentage point over 12 months.
You can squibble the numbers. Emily, did I propose something that we should think about for a second here about taking away some of the cushy endowments and the tax cuts in exchange for making student debt like all other debt? I got 30 seconds.
Absolutely. And I think particularly because of what we just talked about, there has to be incentives for schools to rein in the cost of tuition. And if they start actually getting targeted by the federal government, they will have to rethink these things. And the same thing with shrinking the endowments. That allows them to do a lot of stuff that inflates the cost of higher education far beyond what's fair or moral in this country.
Since this is what we know, since it is fair and at least a few people who are reasonable all agree on it, it is guaranteed not to happen in Washington. Emily, Jason, it's good to see you both. Thank you.
Thanks, Leland.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.